Coming up on this episode of Protecting Our Community, can you help with keeping our community safe? Learn how and why with Mr. Town Watch himself. And are you already keeping watch on your property with a security camera? Find out how you could join the forces to fight crime with the Philadelphia Police Department. Stay tuned to Protecting Our Community. Hello, and welcome to our first episode of Protecting Our Community. I'm your host, Brian Coyle. I have 4 years in private security and 26 years in local law enforcement. Here at Protecting Our Community, we aim to improve the quality of your living by giving you the knowledge of the agencies and organizations that are here to help you and the community. We will provide speakers from our local, state, and federal agencies, as well as community leaders, by providing you with useful information to help protect our community. In the first half of our show today, we will explore how an everyday person can make a difference with preventing and stopping a crime in your neighborhood. Later, we'll take a look at creating a network of privately owned security cameras is helping our police department solve crimes. Now it's time for our first guest, Executive Director Anthony Murphy from Town Watch Integrated Services. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm very good.
Thank you for appearing today.
Yes, sir.
So please, Mr. Murphy, tell us about Town Watch Integrated Services.
Okay, Town Watch Integrated Services was established in 1996 under then Mayor Rendell. What they wanted to do was establish a Town Watch program where volunteers in Town Watch received training, received supports, and received an infrastructure on how to operate. And so they established, at that point, we called Philadelphia Operation Town Watch. And the thrust there, again, was to provide that overriding support. So we went around the city because there were groups in existence, but they had not received any training. So we developed the training and traveled around the city and began doing the training. I started off as an office of 1, I grew to an office of 3, and now I'm an office of 14. And
wow.
It's still not enough bodies to cover 21 police districts, but that is our job, to cover 21 police districts, deal with all the organized Town Watch groups, and continue to organize throughout the city of Philadelphia.
Now, Town Watch is similar to Neighborhood Watch in the suburbs, correct?
Yes, with the difference being that here in Philadelphia, our Town Watch members receive training.
Okay.
And that's important because you also want citizens to recognize, or residents to recognize, that there is a limit to what they're able to do, but within that scope, they can be very beneficial and very supportive of not only the police department, but also in prohibiting crime, but also in addressing their quality of life issues. You mentioned that in your opening statement about addressing quality of life. When neighbors work together, it improves the quality of life, and they can identify issues that they want to address, and by working together to do that, working through Town Watch Integrated Services, we improve relationships with police departments. We try to assist them with getting the other supports that they need through city government. But the impetus is on them, because when neighbors identify what the issue is, they engage themselves, and therefore they move the process.
Okay. So what do we call your mission statement would be?
Our mission statement is, 1, to assist the residents in the city of Philadelphia in improving the quality of life in the neighborhood where they live, and where there's not necessarily improvement, but to maintain it. Because one of the things we look to do is build that city of neighborhoods network in the city of Philadelphia. Because we are a city of neighborhoods. Some want to say it's changed, but we work to improve that networking between neighbor to neighbor. I'll give you a quick example. At our first Town Watch conference, which was held also in 1996, the year we had the 26-inch snowstorm.
Yes, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yes.
Okay, our conference was February of that year. Snowstorm conference. And it was the warmest day of the year. And residents came from the far northeast and as far away as southwest Philadelphia. And what started to happen was a bond, because people didn't know that there was Town Watch groups in southwest Philadelphia or in the Northeast.
Okay, wow.
So they began to have that conversation, and it began to improve how people interacted in the city and the kind of relationship you wanted. So we were doing conferences every year, and so it really improved that networking.
So I know you mentioned that it started when Mayor Ed Rendell was here.
Yes.
Did it go back any further than that?
Well, Town Watch does, because Town Watch goes back to the town crier.
Can you explain to us?
Okay. In the 1800s, in the establishment of Philadelphia, we had a town crier who would, you see him on a lot of things with the staff. He walked around and he would check doors, and if things were well, he would say, all is well. And saying all is well meant that, everybody could relax. Well, if he said things wasn't well, then the neighbors would have to come out, respond to him, and support him. So that was the forerunner, to localized policing, and then volunteers becoming a part of what we call Town Watch, what others call Neighborhood Watch.
Wow. So how do you recruit?
Well, we do community meetings. We go to town hall meetings. We go wherever citizens gather. We'll go to schools when they do back to school nights and talk to parents, because a part of Town Watch Integrated Services, we also do SafeCarders, which we recruit volunteers to help watch children go to and from school. See, so we go where the people are.
Okay.
The job of my staff is to be engaged and involved in the community, and our job is to engage the community in addressing their issues. So we do a number of things. Sometimes we'll do bike rides, we'll do community events, we will collaborate with neighborhood organizations so that we're working with them in order to make sure safety is an issue. Whenever safety becomes a part of a program, they reach out to Town Watch Integrated Services for us to come and participate. So we do a number of things. We've gone to churches, we've gone to mosques, we've gone to temples to spread the message about people getting involved, because the more involved citizens, the safer your neighborhood.
I agree.
And you improve the quality of life across the board.
I agree. I agree. So you have a huge diversity in all areas, people
Yes.
involved in Town Watch.
Yes.
So if somebody say, I want to join Town Watch, do they fill out an application? Do they have to go through a background investigation?
They have to do an application, that part's yes. If you're establishing a group, that means you're the beginning of the group.
Okay.
Once the group comes together, we get 5 to 7 people together. We discuss that with them if they feel that they need a background check. Generally, if you're working with a neighbor that you've known for 5, 10, 15 years, you're not too concerned about that. We have to do background checks for people who do SafeCarders, because they're actually watching the children go to and from school, so that's a safety precaution. But if you are joining an established group and they request that you get a background check, it's a volunteer background check.
Right.
And for the state, it doesn't cost you any money to do it. And it's not really a cumbersome process. It's something you do online, and it takes about 4 to 5 days, and you get your results.
Oh, interesting. So you mentioned something about training. Can you
Yes.
go a little bit into about the training? What, if somebody would apply, what would they have to go through?
Okay, our training is anywhere from 1 to 2 hours of training. And we cover subjects like communications, we cover observations, we cover reporting, because you got to do a report not just for yourselves, but also for us if there's an incident, for the police. We cover radio communications, we cover listening skills. So we have a number of subjects that we address, and the training is free because we want you to be a good volunteer. And then we have like 14 or 15 guidelines, like no drinking on Town Watch. You can't carry a weapon on Town Watch. You can't do drugs on Town Watch. And so say, oh my gosh, we need to do drugs. Just for the record, we don't want you to take pills, medication, anything that might cause you to be impaired when you're out on Town Watch. Our job is to prepare you, to keep you safe, and also to make sure that you're doing the right thing.
Is there an age limit on there, or too young or too old? Or?
Well, there is no too old,
Okay.
because you can do eyes and ears, and that doesn't require you to patrol your neighborhood. But if you get out and walk, that's really a good thing. It's a good exercise. Now, we don't have Town Watch members that are under 18.
Okay.
But youth can be a part of a junior Town Watch, which
Okay.
means a junior Town Watch is connected to an adult Town Watch group, and they participate and support with them, so the adults are with them as they are doing different things.
Wow. Wow. So Tell me, can you tell us the success of Town Watch?
In the city of Philadelphia, we have well over 500 Town Watch groups and several thousand members. See, the good thing about Philadelphia, and I'm biased because I'm a Philadelphian, but the good thing about Philadelphia is once people get engaged, even when they move from place to place, they stay engaged.
Wow, wow. So you've been in Town Watch for a long time.
Yes.
So have you ever observed a crime taking place?
I've observed a crime taking place, I've reported the crime, and I've been a witness in court.
Okay.
And that's because part of what we do when we talk to citizens is we encourage them to participate in the court system and in court proceedings. Now, in every neighborhood it's not the same. In every neighborhood the response is not the same.
Okay.
But the information has to be given the same so that people can understand the value of that type of participation.
And when you're in Town Watch, how does one communicate? How do they report that crime?
Well, what we train patrolling Town Watch groups to do is to report back to their base unit, and then the base unit reports to 911. Now, the success of that is we teach them how and what the language of 911 is. That's another one of the workshops. And I also do classes with 911 operators so that they know that if you get a call and someone is reporting a crime to you and they're not in the location of the crime, it is because the patroller has reported it to them. If it's an active emergency, we ask folks to dial 911 with their cell phones, but we don't want people patrolling using the cell phone because the cell phone, as you know, can be a distraction.
It sure can. It sure can. Well, thank you for that information.
Yes, sir.
We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll find out how the everyday citizen can fight back crime with the aid of a camera. But before we go, our law enforcement explorers want to test your knowledge about neighborhood safety. See how well you do.
Hello, I'm Law Enforcement Explorer Taj Davis.
And I'm Law Enforcement Explorer Ashley Datos. We have some safety trivia questions for you, and let's see what you know.
Ashley, true or false? You can be involved with Town Watch without leaving your house.
Taj, that's obviously true. People can look through their windows every so often to observe any suspicious activities happening on their block. If you see or hear anything that doesn't appear right, call 911 or write it down and provide the information to law enforcement. Now, Taj, true or false? Getting to know your neighbors is important.
It's obviously true. Knowing the people who live across the street, behind you, and next to you is important. Establish a friendship with your neighbor who will look out for you and your property. They can contact police when there's a sign of trouble. Now, Ashley, what are the primary hours when residential burglaries occur? 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., 11 p.m. to 10 a.m.
Taj, it's 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Burglaries usually occur when residents are at work or at school.
So how did you do? Were you a safety expert or did you need some help?
Well, either way, we'll have some more safety information for you when Protecting Our Community returns after this break.
Wake each morning and get lost in the adventure, knowing that you will be ready for wherever the day takes you. Learn from those willing to teach. Their wisdom and their strength will become yours. They will impart to you a tradition of education nationally recognized for its value. a tradition worthy of your best efforts. As young men and women of LaSalle, we will invest in you the guidance to blaze your own path, to go forth into the unknown with new certainty, to realize your full potential as professionals, as leaders, as citizens. To take up your place as the accountants, speech therapists, journalists, and CEOs of your generation. To impact this city and the world beyond. These adventures are yours, and you are ready for them. Explorers are never lost.
Welcome back to Protecting Our Community. I'm your host, Brian Coyle. The age of security cameras has created television shows of criminals getting caught on video, falling through ceilings or getting stuck in a small window while committing a burglary. More importantly though, those videos has helped law enforcement agencies catch those criminals committing crimes. Those crimes were solved with the help from the average citizens and business owners who have working security cameras. These cameras caught images of criminals committing acts of theft, burglary, robberies, kidnapping, and even murder. We have the pleasure of having today Police Officer Michael Duffy of the 3rd Police District Crime Prevention Office to talk about the SafeCam program. Mike, welcome.
Hi, Brian.
How are you?
Good.
Good. So tell me something. Tell me about your duties at the 3rd District.
I'm the crime prevention officer, like you said, in the 3rd District. I have almost 21 years there. The past 7, I've been the crime prevention officer. I have a very unique position patrolling and policing the community where I live, which is great. Often days, I'm able to spend half of my day at a desk and half of the day on the street. So a lot of times, I'm keeping officers informed of what's going on. Changing the prison release photos, creating crime bulletins that I email to our community, updating pin maps, emailing officers, always trying to stay with current events of what's going on.
Okay. So you're basically trying to prevent crime from happening?
Absolutely.
Okay, and you're sharing that information with all the officers in the district?
That's correct.
Okay, very good. Can you tell us something about the SafeCam program?
Yes, the city has Commerce SafeCam, and then the police department has Philly Police SafeCam.
Okay.
So basically, we ask residents to register at safecam.phillypolice.com, and basically they're letting us know where their cameras are.
Okay.
There's some people who have concerns that, can the police access my cameras and things like that, and it's absolutely not true. We ask people to register. It's free. There's no cost. It only takes 10 minutes to register.
No cost at all?
No cost at
Okay.
all. Just takes the 10 minutes to register. And so if there's a crime, yeah, there's officers out looking on the buildings for cameras, seeing if a crime was recorded. But also detectives, can go on their computer, click on the mouse, open up the mapping and analysis system, and a little icon will show up on a map where cameras are located. So they would have an idea how many cameras are in, a certain area. Recently, I was given an assignment by my captain, and along the South Street corridor of where I patrol, of businesses that received funding from the city, from the Commerce Department, and 90% of those businesses that are registered with the city were also registered with Philly Police. So I basically visited that other 10%, and out of those 10%, You know, some of them thought that once they registered with the city, they were automatically registered with the department.
Okay.
And a couple other ones had concerns where, like again, like I said, can the department access their cameras, which isn't true. So I basically, you know, informed them, gave them the card, so those other 10% could register. So we have full compliance of everyone in the 3rd District who received funds from the city are now registered with the police department.
Wow. So how long do you think this program's been around?
Oh, several years.
Okay.
We have thousands of people that are already registered.
Really?
And I think it's a great topic to continue to talk about it, because I can remember 7, 8 years ago, I bought cameras for my home and they were $800. Well, now you could walk into a retail store and get 4 cameras in high definition for, you know, maybe 25% of that cost, you know, $200, $300 now. So we are seeing more residents getting cameras, and we encourage residents to get cameras.
Okay. So tell me, the benefits for a business owner. What's the benefit of having a business owner register their cameras with the Philadelphia Police Department?
Well, there's several. For one, commercial businesses who own their property, when they get cameras, they're eligible for reimbursement.
Reimbursement, really?
It's 50% of what they spent, up to $3,000.
Wow.
So you could have cameras professionally installed, and then the city will reimburse you, again, up to $3,000, which is great.
Wow. And that's through what program?
It's the Philadelphia Commerce Department.
Okay, that's good to know.
Linda Lawrence is in charge of that department. She could be reached at 215-683-2172, and her email is linda, L-I-N-D-A, .lawrence@phila.gov.
Another benefit of the businesses using the cameras is that you get them to work together. You get them to have more communications. And that's also when, with that, because we've done a business safeguarders and talked to them in supporting of the Philly Police Department's camera program, as well as commerce.
Wow. So I have a question for our viewers. Does videotaping your own block or business violate any kind of privacy laws?
No, it doesn't. Those laws are more for voice recordings. You're allowed to video people in public view.
So anything in public view, you're allowed to record?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing above the first floor.
Can you share with us any success stories about the SafeCam program?
I mean, it's been very successful. Detectives are always using cameras and putting them out to the public. Our media relations department, you know, daily are putting out videos that come from our detective divisions, and we're often getting help from civilians solving crimes. I mean, even as recent as the Eagles Super Bowl championship win, not only were we using social media and, you know, people's personal cameras that they're recording themselves during acts of vandalism, we're also using surveillance cameras.
Wow. So there's been a lot of success stories, and I know recently with the parade and the Super Bowl night on Sunday night with all the vandalism occurring, so I guess detectives are reviewing all the footage of security cameras in Center City and arresting the vandals.
Now, ironically, again, where I patrolled the east side of South Philly, that Sunoco gas station at Broad and Catherine's in my district.
Okay.
I've had previous contacts with those store employees and managers. They're great people that work there. They helped me numerous times in the past. I'm often around that area after school dismissal, you know, and we're going to get the people that are responsible, thanks to video cameras.
Wow. So I was doing a little research on this about security cameras and when it was first started. Do you know in 1942 the Germans started the first closed circuit TV system, and it was to admire their V-2 rocket.
Right.
They didn't want anybody to know that the rocket was there, so they had the security camera, and then it just evolved to what we have now. And then it's amazing how many crimes that were solved because of video cameras. I mean, it's a blessing that we do have them. You know, and people do share that information with law enforcement officers. Any word of advice from the both of you? Mr. Murphy, about, about safety, before we leave.
One of the things I like to stress to folks is don't leave car doors open. Don't leave things in your cars because people will break in your car. It's like locking your door at home, you lock your car, but also don't leave things visible. And also would stress to the public that if you're walking, don't walk with 2 headphones on so that you can't hear what's going on around you, because if you can't hear what's going on around you, you're making yourself a victim, making yourself a possible victim. And also look up, watch what's going on around you.
Very good safety tips right there. Officer Duffy, you have any last words to say before we end the show?
I think I'm good.
If you are interested in learning about the TownWatch integrated services, go to their website at townwatch.net. To enroll in the Philadelphia Police Department's SafeCam program, visit their website at phillypolice.com. Look for the Help Fight Crime section to register your security camera. I would like to thank once again our guests for joining us today. I also like to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in and being part of the solution with protecting our community. So until next time, remember, protecting our community is everyone's business. Keep those eyes and ears open.